It's Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. This is the match preview, so let's get into it. So this is a funny one to preview, right? Because for both teams, I feel like this is a game that neither are really geared up for. For Arsenal, the league is pretty much done. Liverpool are just waiting for their moment to lift that trophy. And also for Arsenal, the Champions League is the main focus right now, with us being in the semi-final. Then equally for Crystal Palace, they have a semi-final of their own. In terms of the league, chasing the European spots seems to be a little bit further away for them than possible, but they have an opportunity to make their way to Wembley in an FA Cup final and potentially get silverware as well as Europe through that route. So there's far bigger stakes for both teams outside of the Premier League right now. But regardless, both teams need to go at the game because in proper footballing fashion, you need to win each match that's in front of you. Now, in terms of squad news, Jorginho and Calafiori are both out injured. And look, I feel like they would have featured in a game like this. The main concern for both of them is that we lack squad options now, because these two would have provided some good rotation, good options off of the bench or even in the starting 11. So hopefully we might see them for PSG. We might not, but we'll have to see on that front. The other news is that Saka seems to be okay. Arteta saying that he needs to see how he performs in training, the last training session. I feel like we will see him at some point, but I'll get into where that will be later on. Whereas for Palace, the main player that is out is Richards, and that causes a little bit of a question mark as to what they will do defensively because of his red card against Bournemouth. Now, in terms of the starting 11, there's three changes I would make to the team that played against Ipswich. First one is Jurriën Timber. I would play him over Ben White just to get some minutes into his legs. Yes, he wants to be saved for the PSG game, but equally, you need some minutes so that he don't get injured against PSG in that first leg. I'd also bring Merino back into the midfield just to give him minutes in that area, but also to give Declan Rice a rest in that position. He's played a lot of football, and obviously bring Partey in instead at that number 6 role, because he's not going to be available for PSG, so might as well use him here. And then the only change in the front three is Nwaneri. Save Saka, he might still be carrying a little bit of something from that Ipswich game. Maybe play Nwaneri again for an hour, bring Saka on for half an hour, get some minutes for both of them, and I think that's what we could see. Like I said, bit of a strange game that we have ahead of us, dead rubber essentially, but if I was to predict a scoreline, I'll go 2-0 to the Arsenal. But look, these are just my opinions on what is going to be an interesting game between Palace and Arsenal. Football is nothing but opinions, and I want to know what your opinions are about this game. So let me know what those are right there in the comments.